Hello everyone and welcome to Downhaven Entertainment. Today we will be reviewing Maze Runner and The Equalizer. Really, Hollywood? Really, audience? Let's just get into the movie. Dylan O'Brien, he gets the job done. Nothing special, but nothing awful. Kaya's scrotum, she was in the movie. Will Poulter. Now this guy was at least notable, but I have nothing to say in his behalf. And I hate your names. Your names suck. I'm just gonna get this out of the way right now. Nothing worked for me in this movie. Despite this movie getting some praise, I don't really get it. It's teen rebellion, obvious Hunger Games cash grab. When I had Hunger Games on my mind before I came into this movie, I basically knew how the story was going to play out. I knew the shock reveal and the reasons why these kids were in this maze. I mean, how could you be surprised on why the events are happening the way they are? Think about it. Hunger Games, Divergent, Snowpiercer, Ender's Game, they all have a common shock reveal that says things are not what they seem. I mean, this movie's first act is just lazy exposition in the hopes of the audience would see how this world would work just to shake things up and give the illusion of a surprise reveal at the end of what's really happening. And since most of the dialogue is exposition in this movie, be expected to throw all that exposition of how the world works out of the window because what you're being told is not true. So it's just a waste of time because if I were to watch this movie again, all this crap this movie is telling you is just a waste of time. Why not instead get to the point which would be in the second act and the ending of the movie? Also, if you think like I do with knowing what's going on behind the scenes, you'd already know what these monsters are. You would already know that there's a forced love interest in this movie. You'd know exactly what characters are going to die based on what the main character tells them and how the story begins to play out. You would know who's pulling the strings. You would just know the formula that the movie makers are following here. This flick is so cliche that it belongs in the 90s era. And this chick here, she could have been expelled from this movie and you would not miss a thing. And she was unintentionally funny in this movie. There was a scene like,
what's wrong with her?
I don't know. I never seen her before.
I'm gonna go poke her with a stick.
Pokemon.
and there was another scene like,
who am I?
I would love to help you, but you
Where am I from?
You know I can't help you.
Where am I?
I can't help you if you keep throwing stuff at me.
No!
Then I was like, if you want to know the answers to who you are and where you're from these boys, maybe you should stop throwing things and threatening to stab them. They obviously are not trying to hurt you, lady, or teenage girl. The action could have been done well if the director didn't decide to do close-up shaky cam, most of which was done in the dark, so I couldn't see much, plus I was getting dizzy. The music was nothing special, it was nothing bad, but it was pretty forgettable. This movie is just a bland teen drama, sticking it to the man, Hunger Games cash grab. The actors did an okay job. It was just the way this movie was handled that disappointed me. I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's just there. So after seeing this movie, I have to give this movie a solid C-. This movie could have been horrendous. It could have been a Taken/Expendables cash grab. But it goes to show you that when you have the right people working on the movie, everything works out. Now let's get into the movie. The movie stars Denzel Washington being a bad donkey Denzel Washington. Is that a problem? Not at all. This is how I see it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Liam Neeson, and Denzel Washington can just show up on the screen and will automatically elevate the value of this movie just based on their presence. Chloe Moretz playing a hooker. Well, that's different. I really commend Chloe for playing such diverse roles in her career so far. She has never been typecast yet, and she did a pretty fine job in this movie. Martin Coca-Cola. This guy, he was the bad guy, and he was awesome playing the bad guy, but there's not much depth to this character other than he's bad, but he did a great job playing the character. Now, this was a pretty straightforward movie, nothing special, yet still pretty good. I had no expectations going into this movie. It was kind of a hard movie to analyze, cause it's so straightforward. It was like Taken, the first one. It's just enjoyable because it is. And just like Taken, this movie had me stumped. It's like trying to analyze to a kid why 1 + 1 = 2 when the kid asks why, and you're all like, 1. The action in this movie was well done, but with slightly too many jump cuts to give the illusion of speed of the action. I would like to see more precise movement from our characters. It doesn't matter if they show how fast they are, I just want to see the precise movement of the main characters taking down their opponents. Denzel Washington was awesomely likable, like way more than Liam Neeson in my opinion. He's an awesomely fun guy everyone looks up to that you don't want to cross because he will find you and kill you. This movie is just the Denzel Washington show. Looking at how awesome Denzel can be in an action movie at his age, I have no gripe with that. I have no gripe with the movie. Only thing I gotta say about this movie is that it kind of slowed down toward the ending after the climax of the movie. There were like 15 or so minutes after the climax and I was about ready to leave and it just kept going and going. If they trimmed about 5 or 7 minutes off of this movie, it could have flowed a little more consistently. And another thing I like about this flick is nothing slowed Denzel down in this movie. He didn't have to drag anyone along for his adventure, or no annoying sidekick, no damsel in distress he has to tag along and save every 5 minutes to make him appear more manly. It was just Denzel being awesome. As a matter of fact, they should change the name of this movie to Denzel Washington in Denzel Washington is Awesome.
Ah, you mother...
Coming this never.
Shot me in the ass.
And to be honest, guys, that's all I gotta say about this movie. It's just straightforward, so this is a straightforward review for both movies. So after seeing this movie, I have to give this movie a solid B+.